Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the all-new Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide 4-pack, a 4-pack which I've been really excited to actually take a look at. As we've known, this has been coming for a few months now, but the actual contents of the box has remained a mystery until now, and I'm also really excited to take a look at this, as we don't really tend to get that many box sets of some of the mainline figures, and the paint on these guys looks fantastic. So we'll take a very quick look here at the box. You can see Worlds Collide, we've got Nemesis Primal, Fangry, Bumblebee, as well as Blackarachnia. Each of these figures is sporting something a little different from their original counterparts, and in the case of Fangry, I believe this is the first time we're actually getting an official mainline version of this guy that is actually decent. You can see we've got some very cool images here of Bumblebee on the side of the box. As we take a look here towards the top, we've got this awesome honeycomb effect, which you can actually see some of the figures poking throughout the top there. So you've got Nemesis Primal, Fangry, Bumblebee, and of course Blackarachnia. As we spin around here to the side of the box, you can see we've got some wicked product shots of all four of these characters, once again all looking very different from either their original releases or just from any of their previous releases, to be honest. So without further ado, let's crack this open and see what this set is all about. And so here we have the Worlds Collide 4-pack opened up and out of the packaging, and for the most part I would say that this set is perhaps 80% great and then 20% really annoying, as that Fangry has just got some of the worst QC I've seen on a mainline figure for quite some time. So considering that he is probably the worst out of the bunch, we'll start off with him firstly. The actual figure looks pretty nice, I can't deny that. The figure definitely looks great, and from the upper torso, from I'd say about this skirt piece upwards, it's great. But when we take a look at the legs, oh, they are abysmal. You can see in regards to the paint, I think the head sculpt's turned out really nice. Of course, we'll touch base more with this Headmaster Briscoe in just a second, but we've got some really nice looking details going on here for the torso. I think the plastic used for the pink is excellent, especially for the main body, and the black here also looks really cool. We do get some transparent wings, which I believe have actually been painted grey. You can see the transparent section here, so do be a little careful when actually playing around with this figure, as of course you don't want these hinge joints to crack. But nice detailing there on the wings. You can see as we take a look here down to the lower section, the Decepticon insignia. Really nice use of pink paint here for this skirt piece, and then we take a look here to the legs. Now these are just an absolute mess. You can see the really cheap plastic that they've decided to use for these sections, and oh my goodness, are they so frustrating during transformation. The actual knee joints are also on pin joints, meaning that they are just super loose, and there's pretty much no way that at least I can find to tighten these up, which really compromises the stability of this figure and the overall enjoyability, as you can't really get him into a decent pose without the figure wanting to constantly topple over, as he is a little top heavy due to having the wings and of course the head here at the back. But you can see pretty decent detailing. I do like the metallic blue that we've got going on here, and there is some nice panel lining, but you can just see how cheap that plastic is, especially where it's all begun to peel off there at the edge. Now in regards to articulation, of course, as this is a Headmaster, we get a ball joint here at the head, which is excellent. Full rotation here, we get hinge joints out to the sides, rotation at the bicep, 90 there at the elbow. Sadly no form of waist rotation, although the skirt can hinge forwards in order to accommodate the leg going forwards, as well as back to out to the sides. Full rotation here at the thigh, really super loose joint here at the knee, which can bend past 90, and sadly no form of ankle rocker pivot, due to this being, I believe, a retool of a previous Titans Return figure. So definitely not an awful figure, but once again definitely not my favourite due to the QC issues that I have going on here with the legs. Now let's turn it to transformation. So taking a very quick look here at Briscoe, we'll just open him up to reveal some of the details. You can see he's actually turned out really nice, especially where that face sculpt is concerned. We've got a nice mix of black, pink, as well as metallic silver, and also some nice pink detailing here for the bottom. In regards to his conversion, you are supposed to hinge the legs up like this, come to the torso and lift both of these pieces here up, and then he will just store inside, which actually reveals some pretty decent internal detailing. Just peg him in there, collapse this section down. We can then take the head, bring this forwards, and then this will snap into place. Come here to the arms, rotate here, and then collapse the wrists in, collapse this hand down, spin our attention here to the other side, and of course repeat the exact same process. So just collapse all that down, and this is where the dreaded part of the transformation begins. You're going to want to hinge these tail pieces up like this, and then with these sections you're supposed to hinge these out, but my goodness, they are so loose and will more than likely, especially on this side, pop off super easy. It would have cost them nothing to just shoot a pin through these, and I also believe these Buzzworthy Bumblebee releases are slightly inflated as well, so just a tiny metal pin, or maybe if they could have just enhanced the size of these tiny nubs, that would have greatly helped to actually keep these secure. But as it stands, they're more than likely going to fall off multiple times during this transformation sequence. So hinge this here all out. We can of course hinge this down, and repeat the exact same process. Connect these two pieces, and due to the plastic being really flexible, sadly the connection here is incredibly weak. They're literally not going to want to hold together at all, and more than likely will pop out later on during the review. You are then going to want to take this tab and shoot it through the middle slot here. So just align that up and snap this section here into place, just like so. And once again, you saw how this piece did sadly detach, so just attach that on there, bring this in, snap that there into place, close up the tail, snap that into place, rotate the legs down, bring this section down, fold out the foot, and of course repeat the exact same process here on the opposite side. And here we've got Fangry in his really awesome beast mode, and I actually think this has turned out pretty decent as well. You can see in regards to the detail of the head sculpt, I think that looks fantastic. Nice green eyes as well as metallic silver used for the teeth, and the detailing is pretty much exactly the same as what we got for the bot mode in regards to the torso, but the wings I think look pretty decent. You can see the tail is what you would come to expect from a Titan's Return figure, so not the best but definitely not the worst. You can see some nice spinal detailing here for the new hands. You can see that fur texture detail, which I actually think looks quite decent, and the same can also be said here for the hind legs. So not a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination in regards to visual appearance, but in regards to practicality, he definitely is a nightmare to handle. So setting him here off to the side and taking a look at these three awesome figures. Once again, each of these have got something new to offer. So in the case of Nemesis Primal, we've got a brand new masked head sculpt. The head sculpt I wish we got on the Netflix version. For Bumblebee, he's slightly different in comparison to his Netflix counterpart. We've basically got the Bumblebee head sculpt pegged onto either a cliff jumper or a hubcap body, depending on what you want to go by. And then we get a Kingdom Blackarachnia with the mutant mask head sculpt that I believe we got leaked, it must be over a year now, so it's great to finally see that here in physical form. But taking a look here at Nemesis Prime, this for me was an all-new character. I never even knew that there was a Nemesis Prime that existed, but when Rise of the Beasts hits the silver screen next year, I'm pretty certain we're going to be seeing so many different interpretations of Optimus Primal. You can see here, this looks really, really cool. Nemesis Primal sporting a brand new head sculpt, and it definitely looks fantastic. This is such a cool sculpt, and I really hope to see this actually implemented onto an Optimus Primal repaint. You can see we've got that Nemesis Prime teal colour here for the Gatling guns, which looks awesome. Nice purple used here for the torso. Once again, a mixture of silver as well as that teal colour. Same can also be said here for the biceps. They've basically taken Nemesis Prime's colours and slapped them here onto Primal, and I just think it works so nicely, especially here for these arm cannons. You've got the purple fingertips there, nice metallic silver and metallic teal highlights here for the knees, and then finally taking a look here towards the feet, you can see that silver paint, which just looks awesome. So definitely a very cool looking figure, and that face sculpt is fantastic. Now in regards to accessories, we get the same two blades that we saw on the original Primal release. So you can see this time they've been cast out of a grey plastic with red dagger tips, which I actually think suits the character really well. It certainly does complement the main black motif that this figure does in fact sport. And bringing in Optimus Primal here for a size comparison, just so you can see how these two differ. I do think that the differences in regards to paint definitely does give you the vibe that this is a Nemesis version of Primal, whereas this one here is the Primal that we've all come to know and love. And just taking a closer look here at the head sculpts, just so you can see the differences, it is in fact a completely brand new sculpt. So they haven't just simply retooled the mouthpiece, they've literally given him a complete new sculpt, which is excellent. Here for Bumblebee, this will be a great second chance to those of you who missed out on that incredibly elusive Netflix Bumblebee. The Buzzworthy sets always tend to be a little more readily available, so this could potentially be the best way to get a mainline War for Cybertron Bumblebee into your collection. It is a shame that it's not a Volkswagen, but I do believe there are some contractual agreements. So for example, either Walmart or Target will receive the Netflix figures, and then the other will receive the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, and they couldn't really give another exclusive to another store, as that would more than likely be breaching their terms of contract. But this is actually not a bad substitute at all. You can see that we've got a really nice head sculpt here. It is just that Netflix B head sculpt, but it looks awesome. Very nice looking detail, and the shade of yellow that they've actually used on this guy is more akin to what we got with Hubcap. So it's a very bright yellow, which I know some will actually prefer, as of course Netflix B did sport a much darker, almost orange colour scheme. We've got the same bazooka that we've seen from every single version of this mould. This time we've got a green colorization, which actually I don't think looks the best. That's probably the worst colour choice I've seen for this particular weapon so far, but it doesn't look too bad. And you can see we are actually getting the All-Spark accessory this time round that we got in that Megatron and Skeletor spoiler pack, and I think the sculpt work on this too looks pretty decent. And for those who never picked up that set, this is once again a nice way to actually get this into the collection. Considering they're packing this in with this Worlds Collide set, are they in fact hinting that some of these colour variations we may actually see in the upcoming Netflix series? I can only hope. You can see here we've got an Autobot insignia slap bang there in the torso, which I believe is actually the first time we're getting this here on this particular mould, so that's super cool. Sadly, it looks as if though the paint hadn't dried before they decided to strap him in the package, so he has got this really awful plastic time mark here, which definitely does suck, but you can see in regards to the rest of the detail, it definitely isn't a bad mould by any stretch of the imagination. And then we turn to a very quick size comparison with the Netflix Bumblebee, just so you can see the differences. Of course, this is the VW Bug, and this here is the Cliff Jumper mould, but you can see the head sculpts are the same. And I'd love to know down in the comment section below what you guys think in regards to colour. Do you prefer the much lighter shade of yellow here for Bumblebee, which harkens back to, I believe, the Classics toy, or do you prefer this much darker, almost orange colour scheme that we got in the Netflix version? To be honest, I think both of them work pretty well, and I actually don't mind having two versions of War for Cybertron Bumblebee, both in the Volkswagen as well as the Cliff Jumper vehicle mode. And finally here for the robot mode segment, we take a look at what is potentially the best repaint out of this set so far, that being this almost original toy accurate version of Blackarachnia, and she really does look fantastic. I'm a massive fan of this now masked, almost mutant mask head sculpt that we've got going on for the figure, and it's super awesome to actually see it finally released on an official figure. You can see the detailing on that looks fantastic. We've got a really nice shade of purple, white there for the eyes, as well as metallic silver used for the mouthpiece. I actually think the green and the gold works so well, and you can also see this really awesome leopard print detailing that we've got going on here for the breastplate. That definitely is super cool, and I love the dry brushing effect as well we've got going on here for the torso as well as for the thighs. It looks awesome. Really nice paint on this particular figure in my opinion, and I just think the overall colours pop. You can even see these minute details here on the interior sections of her legs. The same can also be said here for the outer section, and I also like the gold spider legs, which I'm pretty certain if you were so inclined you could definitely pop these out and then put them on the actual Kingdom Blackarachnia if you wanted a more cartoon accurate version of that character. But you can see here for her claws, you've once again got that lovely black detailing. Just a very well painted figure even for this section. You've got all of the spider eyes picked out in green, as well as the Predacon insignia, and her weapon is just coated in paint. So we've got a mixture of matte black, silver, as well as purple, and the base colour is in fact this almost gold that we have here for the claws. So a complete painted weapon, probably one of the best painted figures I've seen from the War for Cybertron trilogy so far, and she really does look excellent. Now for a comparison with her previous Kingdom counterpart, you can see here both very nice variations of the mould. If I had to be 100% honest, despite the Kingdom version being almost too inaccurate, I actually think I prefer the new Worlds Collide pack. It just looks so awesome. Definitely one of my favourite colour schemes as mentioned from the line so far, and just bringing them in here for a closer look just so you can see the differences in regards to that head sculpt. It truly is a brand new faceplate and it looks exceptional. You can also see the enhancements to the detail that we've got going on for the breastplate. It looks so much more detailed when in comparison to this older version. And overall, it's just a fantastic looking figure. Definitely one of my favourites from this set. And taking a very quick look here at both of them in their vehicle as well as beast forms, as we've already taken a detailed look at Fangry, I won't go into all that much detail in regards to him. And I didn't showcase the conversions, just as I believe I've already showed the Bumblebee transformation / Cliff Jumper so many times over on the channel, and I've definitely showed the Primal and Blackarachnia one. So please feel free to check out my original reviews of those guys if you want an in-depth conversion. But once again, that Blackarachnia shining through to be the best painted figure out of the entire lineup. The abdomen section just looks incredible with that metallic blue wash that we've got applied over the top. You can even see here for the thigh region, it just looks exceptional. We've got some nice purple detailing here on these sections. Here at the front of the spider, super creepy looking. We've got the silver metallic fangs, green eyes, as well as that awesome metallic blue dry brushing, and you can also see the golden legs with that super creepy hair texture detail applied to them. And spinning around here to the back, you can once again see those green eyes. Now something worth noting is that on my particular release, it's near enough impossible to get these tabs to peg in, and I really don't want to put any pressure on these pincers and potentially break them, so I've decided to leave them untabbed here for this particular review. But for a comparison with the original Kingdom Blackarachnia, you can just see the differences here. Of course, this time this Worlds Collide version is sporting what I believe is her original toy accurate deco, whereas this one is more akin to what we shall see in Netflix, as well as how she appeared in Beast Wars. Taking a very quick look here at Bumblebee, or what is essentially Hubcap, as honestly this is just the Hubcap vehicle mode with the Autobot logo placed on top. You can see the detailing on this as always is fantastic. Nice black detailing at the front, silver rims, as well as really nice detail here at the back. But once again, not much to write home about considering that we've seen this particular mold so many times. For a comparison with the Netflix Volkswagen Bug, you can see here that the Beetle is always going to be classic for Bumblebee. So in regards to a comparison, I would still probably choose this one over this particular rendition. But for those who missed out on this figure, then this one definitely isn't a bad substitute by any stretch of the imagination. And then we turn to Nemesis Primal, which certainly certainly has the most bizarre beast mode colour scheme out of all of them. You can see that this time around, Primal is sporting an entire purple faceplate as well as some really menacing red beady eyes. Honestly, if I saw this particular ape coming towards me, I know which direction I'd be running in, and it would be the opposite one. You can see here for the chest, nice purple paint, same purple that we saw on the fingers, and of course we've got some purple toes, but the rest of the figure's just been cast out of that same black plastic that we saw on the original rendition. So still really awesome looking figure. And just for a very quick comparison with his original Optimus Primal version, you can see here that it really is fantastic how different the vibe is with Nemesis Primal when compared to Optimus Primal. You can definitely see that this is the evil version and that this version is the good version. And so, wrapping up this review with some final thoughts on the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy, Buzzworthy Bumblebee Worlds Collide 4-pack. I actually really love how this turned out. I love that we're actually getting multi-packs of some of the mainline figures, as we don't really tend to see that much with Transformers. So that once again is fantastic. And each of these figures has got something new to offer us. They are not all merely just simple repaints. Primal is sporting a brand new masked head sculpt in robot mode, which is fantastic. I was definitely crying out for that when we got that Netflix repaint, so it's great to see it here on this particular rendition. The Bumblebee I know will be a treat for many of you who sadly could not pick up the Netflix rendition, albeit not his classic Volkswagen look. It still is close enough, and I think in robot mode it's pretty much spot on, so you won't really be able to tell all that much difference. So that too is also a really nice figure. Of course the colour is slightly different, but some may actually prefer the lighter shade of yellow. And the Blackarachnia, wow, she's got one of the best repaints that I've seen from the War for Cybertron line so far. She definitely looks terrific, and once again, much like Primal, is sporting a brand new masked head sculpt, which I believe is a nice callback to her original mutant face. The Fangry figure is pretty decent. I think he looks great in robot mode as well as in his beast mode, but the actual plastic quality, especially where the legs are concerned, is a real drawback, at least to me. I think conversion is very frustrating. You literally cannot transform this guy without pieces popping off, at least on my copy, so that is rather unfortunate to see, but he too still isn't a bad figure, and overall it's definitely one of the better multi-pack repaints that I've seen currently out there on the market. And for Buzzworthy Bumblebee, it's probably the best piece of merchandise that we've gotten so far, so I definitely really like this. I'd love to know down in the comment section below on what you guys think of these particular characters. Whether or not we'll actually see these in this particular incarnation when Kingdom hits Netflix later this month is yet to be seen, but in regards to actual repaints, I think these are some of the best and definitely some of the most interesting that we've seen, even topping some of the Generation Select releases. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.